Hey, this is Flug, and the TWC server has a whole bunch of new capabilities now, so I thought I'd take you on one little test flight and show you one of them. So what we're going to do is we're going to repair an objective that the enemy has destroyed, and that's kind of essential to our operation. And what's happened is the enemy has gone back here into sector AA28. .7, so that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It's way back in this upper left corner of AA28, and he's taken out our Knickerbein headquarters that coordinates all the wayfinding radio beams so that we can find our targets. So they've destroyed that. We tried to hide it way up here in the corner, but they found it. They took it out. So if we go and repair this, then that will put our Knickerbein system back in operation, which would be super helpful for everyone. I already took one flight out there earlier. It was destroyed, I don't know, about 130%. And so that actually did most of the repair. But if we take one more flight, that should repair it completely and maybe even give us a little bonus sort of stored up repair supply, so it'll be a little bit more resistant to attack next time. So what we're going to do to pick up repair supplies, you have to start somewhere here in the back corner of the map. White Waltham, I believe, works. Reading works. Batesbury, Watchfield, Harwell, places like that. Some of these down here might work. Zoom in here just a little bit. Up Avon, Nether Avon. Some of those might work. You can just try them. But usually what you have to do is you have to start way back here on the far end of the map and then fly up to the front lines or something. But since this objective happens to be way back in the map, we only have to fly from Watchfield over here. It's almost due west, and it's right up in this area somewhere. So let me show you how we do that. First off, go to Watchfield. You always have to select a bomber. I usually take a Blenheim because they are a little bit faster. You go to the loadout, and the trick is you have to make sure there are no bombs whatsoever, because we're using all of our capacity to carry repair supplies. So make sure everything here is empty. Honestly, doesn't matter what you select for fuel, because HQ is going to set your fuel to the minimum either way. I just create my plane. I'm in Watchfield. The one thing you have to watch out for, normally you have to fly at least 20 kilometers to drop off supplies. Well, if you're flying up to front lines, you're going to go way more than 20. But in this case, we're just flying 3 sectors over, so it's actually rather close to 20. So we could actually check that. If we zoom into the map here, yeah, it's going to be close to 20. I got away with it last time, so I'm gonna... Oh no, it's more than 20. Okay, so each of these grid squares is 10 kilometers. So it'll be 10 kilometers to there, 20 to there, 25 or 28 to our objective over here. You can see my little cursor. So that's good. So it'll be more than 20. That's all we need. And then the other thing is that we have to... it's a parachute drop, so there's a lot of rather tricky requirements to get that just right. You have to fly just at 3,000 feet, and that's AGL. So we have to look up the elevation, the land elevation for our target. In this case, it's only like 50 feet, so that's not going to be a big deal. But some places have 400 feet elevation, and so if you go flying in at 3,000 feet altitude, it's going to say, no, you need 3,000 feet AGL. So you need to be 300 or 400 feet higher. So that's a little bit tricky. In this case, we can just pretty well shoot for 3,000 feet altitude, and that's going to be the same in AGL. Okay, so we've got in. You notice I let the AI start the plane so I don't have to warm it up, and I also let it taxi. That's the lazy man's way. Let it taxi to the end of the runway. Now, while we're stopped here, though, now is when we are going to pick up our delivery supplies. So you do that by typing the lesser than arrow, and then DE is down here in the left corner where I have it in the chat command. So, sorry. and it's not DE, it's PI. So for pickup, in fact, you can type out pickup if you like. And that will give you a message. You've picked up your repair load, a giant load of shovels and gunny sacks. So we're going to carry that over to repair our thing. So you can either do just lesser than symbol and PI, which is short for pickup, or you can type pickup out all the way if that helps you. Then the other thing we'll do is we will pick up some cover aircraft to fly with us. We can pick up 10 cover aircraft. They will fly with us, and they will carry 10 more loads of our, in this case, giant load of shovels and gunny sacks. Those guys are going to be busy shoveling out there, I guess, at the Knickerbein headquarters. So we can pick up 10 of those. What I like to do is wait, because if you are moving, the cover aircraft will come in and they'll be going the same way you are. And so that helps everyone to get hooked up in the air a little bit quicker. So I'm actually going to take off, and then the minute I take off, I will do those cover aircraft. Now what I'm going to do for cover aircraft, when you're doing pickup and delivery, and it's the same for defense units and it's the same for ferrying, you just type cover, and when you do cover, you type lesser than symbol, then cover, then you type a number which indicates which aircraft you're going to use. Well, when you're doing pickup, delivery, or ferry, the aircraft is always the same as the aircraft you are flying. So you could just type 1 and it will always be the same one. And then usually when you're doing ferry or repair delivery, you want to do rather large formations. It works out a lot better. So like instead of having 10 formations of one plane that join up with the I'll just have 2 formations of 5, and that'll make 10 altogether. So I do cover 1, which indicates aircraft 1, which is the one I'm flying right now, and then I put 5, which indicates 5 in each group, air group. And then I'm going to put X2, which means do that command twice. And so then I'll have 2 groups of 5 aircraft, which are the same as what I have. But now I'm not going to push that button. It's all ready to go, but I'm actually going to take off now, and then I'll push it once I'm just in the air. So I'm going to make sure I have my radiators up to 100. I'm going to put my prop up to 100. Managed to botch both of those up last time. Because when you let the AI start your aircraft, they don't move the prop or the radiators up. They leave them both at 0 for some reason. Okay, so now I'm lined up with the runway. Oh, I'm going to check the wind. That is going to mess me up. So that's tab 444 and then 8. You can see up here, winds aloft and time left. Those are both good to check before you start on a 30-minute flight. So winds are just 0, 5, and 4. So very light winds today, hardly anything. Winds aloft. And it looks like we have 5 hours and 32 minutes left in the session, so we'll be able to make it easily. Okay, so I'm ready to go. So I'll just throttle up, roll down the runway, and the minute I take off, I will load in those cover aircraft. One trick too is I'd put in chocks, but also the AI will put in the brakes. And sometimes if you just ignore that and take off, it will make you nose over. So that was exciting to discover. So if you just hit the brakes, you just tap them once, then there you go. Okay, I've got the prop off, so I won't blow up my engine. Okay, I'm going to hit cover. I just entered that command, so it's cover 1.5 and X2, so that should bring me in 10 aircraft. We can see if it will give us more. Let's do cover 1.5 again, but it is going to give you 10, and that's the limit. Okay, now I happen to know. Oh, then the next thing I'm going to do is I will put cdist, and that's the chat command for a cover. That means cover distance. I'm going to set it to like 2,000, which makes it 2,000% of what it normally is. So that will spread out your cover aircraft. They won't be close to you at all. And so that reduces the possibility that they're going to crash into each other or crash into you. And also, since we're off in this very far corner of the map, so far from anything. I don't think we're going to be attacked. Okay, so anyway, let's just see where those cover aircraft are. I'm going to jump in the back tower here. Gunner's position. There they are. They're all over there, off my starboard wing, and they're just, yep, there's 10 of them, and they will form up now. They might be to my right, they might be to my left, or I might be in the middle of them. We'll have to see. I could be either in between those two groups, or to their left, or to their right. But with a C dist of 2,000, we'll all be very spaced out. Won't be close to each other. We won't be stepping on each other, getting in each other's way. Now, I flew out here before, and that was a bit of a comedy of errors. I'm going to try to do better now that I'm videoing it. But I happen to know that the objective, since I flew out there, it's, you can see that river ahead, because we're very near the edge of the map. You follow that river, and it's going to be, I think, just to the right. You can see it forking, and then it's going to be just to the right of one of those forks. And it's basically due west, just a couple of degrees to the north of west from where I'm going. Get a better view if we go into the Bombardier. I'm going to check my map, just check my thought process here. Yeah, so here we are at Watchfield. The objective is in this area. And the trick is the edge of the map is right after that. And so last time I flew off the map, and HQ was giving me some nasty old messages about how bad I was for leaving the map. So I'm going to try to avoid that this time. Okay, I'm just going to put my virtual cockpit. You won't be able to see that, but it's going to help me quite a bit. It's just in this area. So I think I'm too far to the north. One trick is you can use all your bomber tools. I'm going to use my autopilot. Okay, and we need to come in right at 3,000 feet. So autopilot is gonna be pretty helpful for that. By the way, this is gonna be a learning experience together. So when I mess up and get lost and all that, you're gonna find out how I deal with it by crashing and so on. Okay, so still not sure we're going exactly the right way. But the trick is, for bombing, we want to be right at 3,000 feet. If you look at my dial here, I'm a little low. The other trick is you need to be at 120 miles an hour. Okay, so I'm going to slow down. I'm going to put down my flaps. I'm going to get somewhere close to 30,000 feet. I'm going to put on mode 22. Now the trick is to find that objective. Once you see it, it's actually pretty obvious, but because it's like a smoking crater, you know, it's been bombed. But in this part of the map, there's just a whole bunch of rivers going out there. There's not a whole lot of landmarks. It's real easy to get lost, which is kind of what I am right now. So I thought it was a little bit to the south, but now I feel like, can't be this far to the south. And there's a real handy rail line right here, but unfortunately our maps really don't show those rail lines, so that's not going to help me. Otherwise, that would be really handy. Okay, maybe I'm just not there yet. I think that's about it. Because I'm seeing there's a little knot in the rivers right here, and I believe that's the knot I'm seeing on the map in AC29, about dot 2. So if I just keep going, unless that's that knot, because it actually looks more like that. And if that's so, then our objective is going to be over here somewhere. So one of the points we're getting at here is these. The whole point of these is they're kind of like navigation challenges, wayfinding challenges, and flying challenges. Can you find your way around the map, and can you find things? And a lot of times you find out, nah, I got lost. So that's kind of what's happening to us right now. We are kind of getting lost. I did look up, it's 285 degrees from Watchfield. But then I didn't have my virtual cockpit up and I couldn't see the compass. So I didn't exactly fly that course, but I was pretty close to it. You can see right now we're getting to the edge of the map, which is not going to be beneficial. Where those rivers end and such is pretty much the end of the map. I think we are too far south. I do believe I recognize that little loop of the river, and this is one advantage of pre-flying it. So I think if we just follow the edge of the map here, and you can see there's our cover bombers. They're close, but not too close. Now, one thing you have to watch out for at the edge of the map, if they go too far off the map, they'll be disapparated, which won't be good for anybody. Okay, but I think I recognize those little loops there. Could be wrong. Yeah, see, that's this down here. That's in like AA27. So we somehow got down in AA27 instead of AA28. So this little clot of rivers here is just off the map of AA28.1. And then we'll go past those. I did almost the same thing when I flew up here before. So we'll go past those two. I'm trying to go almost exactly due north. Okay, so that is in AA28.1. I can see it now. The next river is about AA28.4, and then our objective is just past there. So up in this area, if you can see my cursor. Okay, so what I'm trying to do now, I'm just trying to keep it about 120. I'm about 3,200 feet elevation. So when I see my objective up there, I can just keep on the same elevation, speed, and course, and I can just drop. And I think we're about on target for that. It's about straight ahead. So one thing you can do when you're ready is you type lesser than symbol DA. If you want to type it all the way out, it's dadvice. So that means drop advice. And that will be advice from your jump master about whether you're too fast, too slow, too high, too low, and so on. It'll tell you everything you need to fix. And this time the jump master said that was a successful training drop. So I'm at the right altitude. I'm at the right speed. I'm 122. Your goal is 120. I'm at 3,300 feet almost. So if I have to be a little bit careful there, if I get too much higher, that might not be good. So I'm just gonna, okay, now there's our target in sight, the smoking remnant. So it's a good thing they dropped a lot of bombs there to give us a little insight into where that's going to be. So I can actually just use my bomb sight now to drop. And I switched off mode 22 and lost a little bit of altitude there. The danger is I also sped up to about 140. So that's starting to push it. We want to be going about 120. Okay, there's our steaming craters. I can actually use my bomb sight pretty well to drop. Okay, I'm going to enter the command DE for deliver. Lesser than DE. I'm about over the target. Now this doesn't have to be super precise, but I'm going to do my best. There's our objective. I drop. We'll see what it says. Hold steady, it says. Hold steady. You do have to hold steady. Hold steady. Hold steady. They're like unloading all this stuff. Okay. Oh, and there was a strange loud noise. Okay, I switch off my targeting. That was a successful drop. Says you completed the mission with 50 minutes to spare. Started with 11 loads of repair supplies. That would be those 10 cover aircraft plus me. Your loads will assist Radio Beam Wayfinding Coordination Center. And your 11 repair loads will reduce damage to negative 40.5%. So that's good. Was it like 25-30% damage, and now it's going to be at negative 30, which means it actually has a little reserve of repair supplies. So you can see the objective down there. You can see the parachute floating down with the supplies. Some of the supplies have kind of plopped in the field there too. And then it also drops a little bit of a flare. That's one of the smoke things. I dropped one earlier, so that's one of the other ones, probably right next to it. And you can see the parachute going down there. Zoom in, get some fabulous camera work. Yeah, those little pieces of stuff you see there is like some crates or whatever that were dropped in for part of the supplies, part of the gunny sacks or whatever. Okay, so successful drop. And once I drop those the cover aircraft that were with you go and take care of dropping their own loads, you don't have to worry about that. Now all I have to do is navigate my way back to an airport and land, because we don't want to just abandon the plane or crash it. Or last time I'd accidentally left the prop on 100 for too long and burned up the engines, and I made it out to the objective, but I didn't quite make it back to the airport. So that airplane was lost, so that was not too smart. Okay, and the trick is, like, usually you can navigate, you can use Knickerbein, which is tab 4, 4, 4, and 4, and you can see turn on. You'd have to enter Knickerbein coordinate before, but once you've done that, you can turn it on. But you cannot use Knickerbein when you're on a repair mission, because they're supposed to be for bomber pilots. Number one, and number two, our Knickerbein headquarters is destroyed. Of course, we just repaired it, but it's going to take a little while before it's actually repaired. It doesn't just repair it instantly. Those guys are going to be out there digging with their shovels and gunny sacks, for quite a little while. So anyways, the point is, we have to get back to some kind of an airport. We have to navigate by the seat of our pants. We can't use, also we don't, normally you can use radar. So you can go tab 4 and 1. That'll give you your enemy radar, so we know if anyone is in the area maybe gonna attack us. It's actually giving us a report now, and which is helpful. It says we're in sector AA28, and then it gives us enemy radar contact with 11 bombers, 180 miles, 100 degrees. Okay, so 180 miles, I don't think that's going to be a danger to us. But the point is, when we were flying out with our repair supplies, it would not have given us that radar contact, because those are for combat pilots, not for lazy people who can't navigate around the map or keep their eyes open for enemies. Anyway, so to navigate back, we're going to try to do a little bit better job. I do know if we go basically due east, and we're going to follow, you can see that river, the little kind of double river thing. That is this little double river right here. So we'll follow that through where it kind of curves a little bit south, and it will curve north, and we're going to keep going straight and just head a little bit south, and that'll take us right to Watchfield. And like I say, it is helpful. I just barely navigated this. There's Swindon, so I happen to know that. See, there's a river going down towards Swindon. And then this river, where it kind of bulges to the south, that lines up just north of Swindon. And then there's this little side river here that angles down towards Swindon. So that's a good landmark. See, that'll be this river here. You can see it on the little map. That ends in a little lake. It'll be this one right up here. Ends in this little forest and this little lake. So actually, we could head, if we aim, so we're up here somewhere, if we just aim a little bit to the north of that, we should have our nose right on Watchfield. We won't go right towards that little lake, but a little north. And then Watchfield, there's a little, two rivers that make a little V. And just to the northeast of Swindon, about 1 grid square. And Watchfield is right there. I believe it is. Yep, so we found that little V, Watchfield, the river that goes more northward there. You follow that up a little bit, and there's Watchfield. So there it is in real life. I'm pointing this out not only because I don't fly in this part of the map much, and it's real easy to get lost up here. So this is the basic, this is kind of how you have to navigate when you're doing delivery supplies. First of all, you get a heading. You can use the map, the online situation map. If you click on one point and put start and click on another, put end, it'll give you a bearing and a time. Say that'll be a 22-minute flight at 132 degrees. Note that that is not corrected for magnetic offset, but anyways, it'll give you a heading and a time, so you can use that as a start. But then in the meanwhile, you're looking for the rivers, you're looking for the towns. Swindon is just back there. Here's these little rivers that make the little V, and then the one that goes north, there's Watchfield. So you're just looking for all those kind of little landmarks to try to keep on track. Okay, so I'm a little high here. I'm going to put on full flaps, 0 throttle. I can put my prop up to 100 if I don't over rev it. I do like to stay in the bombardier a little bit because you can see a little bit better, but I'm mighty high. So back to I'm still at 3,000 feet. Airspeed is 150. So I've got a long way to go down here in a short while. So I'm kind of crossing my controls. I'm 115 miles an hour, 120. So I'm putting the gear down. That'll help to slow me down. And you can see we have these handy dandy little windsocks that I guess this is not the official runway right now. I see it now crossing, but this is a good enough runway. I'm going to shoot for about 100 miles an hour. Cross the threshold here. Yeah, that was a little exciting approach. Then I'm just going to flare a little bit. Just let it settle to the ground. Not too bad. Let it roll out. Don't hit the brakes. Then just tap them. Tap, tap, tap. If you hit them too hard, you go nose over. Alrighty. And then we can taxi over. But there's our completed delivery repair. We figure out how to navigate from the closest airport. Do make sure you have to go more than 20 kilometers. Usually that's not a problem, but if your destroyed thing happens to be like 10 kilometers from an airport, then you're going to waste time trying to go over there. Anyways, we figured out where to go. We navigated over there. We flew in just at 3,000 feet AGL. We're shooting for 120 miles an hour. It'll give you a little leeway there, but if you're going 190, it's not going to allow you to drop. That's not a safe drop for our paratroopers. And if you're going 90 or whatever, you're going to stall. By the way, often, I didn't tell you, but I usually put it on full flaps for the delivery drop because 120 miles an hour, even in the Blenheim, is kind of slow. So you put on full flap so you don't stall. You have good control at that speed, and it also helps to slow you down and keep you that slow. Anyway, 3,000 feet AGL, you have to be flat and level. So if you're either nose down or nose up, or got one, port or starboard wing down too far, if you're not level in either of those axes, then it will say no drop, no drop, So you have to be coming in straight, level, right speed, 120, right altitude, 3,000 AGL, and then you hit DE for deliver, and it will drop those paratroopers and this parachute supplies, and it'll resupply that objective. So that's a little challenge, a little flying challenge for you, and it also helps your team a lot to have these objectives repaired. You can ferry aircraft if you are short of one kind of aircraft. Ferrying, you don't have to drop them by parachute. You just get like 10 aircraft with you. You type lesser than ferry at the airport to pick them up. Then you do cover just like we did. You can actually cover. You can actually fly up to 18 of those ferry aircraft. And those you don't drop in by parachute, but you fly from one of these rear airports. You fly up to a frontline airport and just land. And then that will deliver all those ferry aircraft. You can also fly in supplies, repair supplies to an airport. In that case, you can just land and deliver them. That way you don't have to do the parachute. And the other thing you can deliver this same way is defense units. So you come to a rear airport like this. In that case, you instead of doing PI for pickup, you do PD for pickup defense units. And you can pick up the defense units from a rear, carry them either to an airport, in that case you can land, or you can carry them up to a specific objective that you want to fortify. And in that case, you have to do this parachute drop thing from 3,000 feet altitude. So you can pick up and deliver any of those three things, and they really help your team. And it's also just a fun kind of flying challenge. And then the other thing you saw is we used the lesser than symbol DA chat command for delivery advice, right? So D advice. And that allowed us to practice, am I at the right altitude, the right speed, the right orientation and everything to do a successful drop. So you can actually do that. You can do that. I usually do it on the way, like when I'm about to deliver, I'll try to get all those things set. I'll get my autopilot dialed in, and then I'll do lesser than DA, which will tell me, oh, you're too high, you're too low, you're too fast, and then I can adjust. But also, if you just want to practice, you actually do have to leave your bombs off. But if you can just get up in any bomber with no bombs, it doesn't have to be even a rear airport. It can be any airport, and then just fly around, try to get into that configuration, then type DA, and it will tell you, okay, that was a good drop, or no, you're too fast, you're too slow, you're too high, you're too low. And so then that's a good way to practice getting ready for that parachute drop thing. And I will just mention, the parachute drop is too hard. It is pretty hard. It's hard to be straight, level, at that altitude, at that speed, but also, I mean, that's what skydiving pilots do. So this is both a reasonably similar thing to what you do when you have to do a parachute drop, and the way we do the parachute drop in the sim, it also requires, like, you can't be too high, you can't be too low. If you're too low, it just hits the ground and explodes. The parachutes don't open. So if you're too fast and so on, that doesn't work. And of course, if you're too slow, you're going to stall. So like, these aren't just fake requirements. Like, this is, you have to fly like that, and you have to hold it steady for about 10 seconds, it says. Or like this system for doing the parachutes, I mean, forget about real parachutes, just in the game, the way this works. Like if you don't hold it steady and start veering up and down, you might crash into your repair load and you'll all die. So that's not going to be good for anybody. So all those things are actually not fake. They're what you have to do as a pilot to make this thing work. Which, if you notice, Cliffs of Dover does not have a parachute drop capability. So it's a tricky thing that we're getting to happen to have it drop the parachutes. So you have to do your part. If you don't do it just like that, it doesn't work. I guarantee it. So anyway, so it is a flying challenge, but it's like a real flying challenge. That's what you would have to do if you were dropping a parachute drop, and that's what you have to do in this sim to make it work. Alrighty, so that's how you do it. Give it a try. Check out the forums at TWC pilots.com, and if you have any questions, or the forums at the Air Tactical Assault Group. We have a TWC campaign forum, so if you have questions. We also have a Discord server. You can get on there and ask questions or get somebody to help you, because this is a bit tricky, but it's also a lot of fun. So give it a try. Shoot us any questions if you have any, and good luck.